Ladies and gentlemen, Twitter is on the ropes, and one would think, well, it went up, the stock went up the other day, and this is not investment advice. It could be the best company in the world. It could be the best thing for your retirement account. I am not giving any investment advice. I'm just giving my humble opinion. It's projecting a loss next quarter, and Twitter's user base is dwindling, or not growing as fast as it should. It has over $3 billion in debt, and it has a 1% market share in terms of ad revenue on the internet, digital ad spending, a 1% market share that, by the way, is decreasing. So net digital display ad market share of major ad selling companies in the United States, Facebook has like 42% of the market share in terms of digital advertising, okay? Facebook has 42%, Amazon has 4.1%, Verizon has 3.2%. Well, this is in 2019. Now, in 2019, Twitter had 2.3% of the market share in terms of online digital ads. 2020, it goes to 2.1%. And then 2021, it's projected to have 1.9% market share. 2022, it's projected to have 1.7% market share. Facebook's still going to have 42%. Who spends ad money? Like, who would buy an ad on either Facebook or Twitter? Okay. What kind of return on investment? Like, have you ever purchased something? Do you ever even look at Facebook ads? But anyway, or Twitter. I mean, how many ads have you seen on Twitter? I don't have a Twitter account, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I don't have a Twitter account. I deleted my Twitter account 2 years ago. But this is Trump. The Trump ban is the worst thing for that company. And I want to read you this. So they're projecting a loss for first quarter 2021. Twitter said it expects total revenues to be between $940 million and $1.4 billion, but they have $3 billion in debt, and operating income to be a loss of $50 million and between a loss of $50 million and break even. Gee, what are the chances it's $50 million? Plus, they're like facing fines, and they're facing a whole bunch of issues from the banning of President Trump, but they're getting banned themselves in other countries. The whole thing's a train wreck. This is like the Enron and MySpace all rolled into one of cyber platforms or of internet platforms. It's probably the worst. It's just the worst alternate reality you could ever think of. People just argue all the time. It's just a boiling pot of discontent. I'll put the links below. This is a variety, okay? Lost within beating analyst expectations for Q1 2021. Twitter said it expects total revenue to be between $940 million and $1 billion, and operating income to be between a loss of $50 million and break even. So no one's talking about that. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. I'll be doing a lot of I'll be doing a recurring series or theme on how wonderful Twitter is. So hit subscribe to this channel. Not many people are talking about this. The writing's on the wall in terms of that company. That platform is a platform that's the user growth is dwindling, or not growing as fast as it needs to grow. They're looking at subscriptions. So Twitter jumps. User growth. User gains are seen decelerating from 2020's robust pace. Because people actually have things to do with their lives instead of just argue with others on this useless platform. Hit subscribe to this channel right now, ladies and gentlemen. We're on our way to 200,000 subscribers. Go to hagoodman.com if you want to read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, and Salon. And The Federalist, The Jerusalem Post, and see my debates. If you want to support my work long term, my Patreon is below. So, warn the audience that gains in 2021 will be slow compared with last year's pandemic-fueled surge. Well, they've been losing. They haven't been growing their user base as fast as they've wanted to, and that's been the issue for years. That's number one. Number two, they're projecting a loss in the first quarter of 2021. Number three is they have a market share that's decreasing of digital ads, digital display ad market share from major ad selling companies. So their market share in terms of digital ads is decreasing, is expected to decrease over the years. Their user base is not increasing as fast as they need it to increase. They're looking at a subscription base because they can't generate the revenue needed to... And they've increased debt like $1 billion in the past year and a half or so. Over $1 billion. I might be generous with that number. It's now well over $3 billion. So tell me how this platform's like the wave of the future. This is the height. This is the height of Twitter influence in American society and politics. Unfortunately, we have to deal with this because of an inept, inept Republican Party that won't fight back. And that's because even though President Trump does control the GOP now, it is a populist conservative party that is against regime change, against counterinsurgency conflicts, or I should say, the Republicans who support President Trump Republicans, are the type of people who champion his accomplishments, being the first president to step foot in North Korea, to begin détente between North and South Korea, Abraham Accords. Trump was the first president he's allocated more funding to historically black colleges and universities than any president ever. Signed an executive order combating anti-Semitism on college campuses. While AOC tries to... I love that there's no outrage when AOC makes revisionist historical claims by equating what's taking place at the southern border to a topic that Yad Vashem stated she should never talk, or that she should learn more about. That was a very diplomatic tweet refuting and essentially condemning her statement. What AOC said was more dangerous in terms of revisionist history and denial. Because if you equate what's taking place in today's politics, and you try to make some kind of moral equivalency, you're an immoral person. And you're ignorant. The ignorance is astounding of the true horrors and atrocities and the barbarism of the time period that Yad Vashem knows infinitely more about than AOC. If I'm speaking in roundabout terms, it's because I have to. Go to hagoodman.com. You can read my Jerusalem Post article on AOC. I wrote an article on what she said and how horrendous it was. This was a couple of years back. Notice how the outrage only flows one way. Never outrage for anything that Democrats say or do. But tell me how this is. I'll put the Statistica.com link below. I'll put the Variety link, and I'll put the Bloomberg article below. There's actually a better one. Okay, Twitter investors look past warning of slower user growth and rising ad sales. The user growth is slowing down because they've banned President Trump, and they're known as simply a platform to spew contempt and disdain for Trump. Now you have the Lincoln Project people and their skeletons out of the closet, that organization made its name on Twitter. You have all of these people engaging in absurd, hyperbolic, lame arguments, analogies. They're using metaphors that don't make sense, that are historically inaccurate, yet they never get birdwatched. Twitter has this wonderful Orwellian thing called birdwatching, or what is it, whatever, I forgot exactly what it's called, but where users can actually point out flaws, and you better believe it's going to be from such a liberal bias and vantage point. It's unbelievable. You never get the New York Post's profile was suspended. Why? Why was the New York Post profile suspended? That's all you need to know about Twitter and why it'll tank in the future and why its ad spending will be even a tinier percentage of the overall market for ad spending, why its user grace will continue to decelerate, and why they're projecting an operating loss next quarter. Give me your thoughts below, and it's mainly because of Trump, ladies and gentlemen. I should say it's in large part because of Trump. Give me your thoughts. Thank you. Hit subscribe.